It's a rally rocket for the road. A lightweight, all-wheel drive, 3-cylinder, turbocharged screamer with enough grunt to blow performance cars twice its size off the road. Yep, it's the much anticipated Toyota GR Yaris.
The GR Yaris is the basis for homologation of Toyota's 2021 World Rally Championship contender and packs a huge amount of tech into a compact, ridiculously racy package.
But before we get into the details, if you want to plot your own course through this review, you can jump ahead. Here are the time codes. And for those watching on YouTube, the chapter markers are in the timeline down below.
You can find the link to my detailed written review in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are and haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and click that bell icon so you can stay on top of all our latest content.
First up, let's get the price on the table. At a smidge under 50K, this is no budget-focused shopping trolley. But when you do the grocery run, you're going to be taking the long way home. The first thing you'll notice about this car is that it's way lower and way wider than the standard 5-door Yaris. In fact, there are only 3 exterior elements shared between that car and this one: the headlights, exterior mirrors, and the tail lights.
The roof tapers steeply at the rear and the doors are frameless for a close to coupe look. It's offered in the GR racing colours of white, red or black. And the car sits on a new TNGA dedicated platform, essentially combining the front end of the Yaris with the rear of the Corolla, and you'll understand why a bit later.
This car also stands apart thanks to this aggressive grille with enormous vents. There's also a spoiler at the back, side skirts along here, and these fat guards sitting over 18-inch forged alloy NKI rims.
They're shod with high-performance Dunlop rubber. The headlights, taillights and front and rear fog lights are LED, and there's tricky aero everywhere, from spats in front of each tyre to multiple underbody covers and steps built into the inside of the rear bumper.
Weight has been carved off all around the car, but the highlights are this carbon roof, a first for Toyota, aluminium bonnet, doors and tailgate, and there's lightweight, high tensile steel throughout the superstructure and body. Under the bonnet is an all-new 1.6 litre, 3-cylinder single turbo engine, producing no less than 200 kilowatts and 370 newton metres. That's close to 270 horsepower from a 1.6 litre triple.
It features heaps of competition-focused features, from exotic internals to an aluminium oil cooler and high-capacity water pump. All the details are in my written review on the website.
It sends power to all 4 wheels through a 6-speed manual gearbox and Toyota's latest GR4 permanent all-wheel drive system.
The system's built around a lightweight, high-response rear diff, featuring an integrated, electronically controlled multi-plate clutch pack. Theoretically, it can send 100% of drive to the front or rear axle, with multiple preset modes available. Normal is 60% to the front, 40% to the rear. Sport, 30/70 for your favourite B-road, and track is 50/50 for a quick, balanced circuit setup.
This is a 4-seater only, but these sport front seats combine suede and leather trim elements. There's also some nice suede in the doors. This small diameter sports wheel is leather trimmed, as is this short throw manual gear shift. It's even a short throw handbrake, but who knows what you might use that for.
There's also a 7-inch media screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and 8-speaker JBL audio. But enough about the stereo, let's drive.
First thing to say is this is unlike any Yaris you will have experienced before. Tommy Mäkinen Racing partners with Toyota through Gazoo on its World Rally Championship program. They had a lot to do with the development of this car, as did a whole lot of pro racing drivers, and you can really feel it. This feels like a roadified competition car. Toyota claims 0 to 100 km/h in 5.2 seconds, which is pretty rapid. But last night we were looking at some data supplied by a customer, someone who'd got their hands on one of these nice and early, and they'd recorded a 4.7, and I've got to say it feels every bit that quick. And the engine noise, 3-cylinder engines typically sound quite guttural, that syncopated rhythm in the engine noise and the exhaust, but this one has just got that real roar about it. It's very tempting. It's hard not to dip into it on a very regular basis.
The reason the Corolla's rear end was grafted onto this thing is that while the strut front suspension remains, albeit beefed up and retuned, the rear swaps out the standard car's puny torsion bar setup for a much wider track, trailing arm multi-link arrangement.
This car rides a lot better than you'd expect it to. Get a few little bumps here and there, but overall it's pretty good, and it feels so well controlled, balanced and buttoned down in the corners, yet it's got this compliance that gives you a surprising level of comfort. And I always think that's the hallmark of a really well-tuned sports suspension, is you get that dynamic performance, but you don't have to suffer too much in terms of the ride comfort. The rack and pinion steering is electrically assisted, and I have got to say the road feel is just amazing. It is fantastic. And the great news is you don't pay for it in terms of vibration or any harsh feedback through the wheel. It absolutely tells you where it is, points exactly where you want it to go. A lot of the hardware through the steering column is aluminium, and there's obviously been a lot of attention paid to all of that hardware. It really pays off. Ending off with this grippy sports wheel, it just wants to point into corners and stick there. These front sports seats are great. They're really grippy but comfortable at the same time. And as you push into a corner, you can really feel the all-wheel drive system doing its thing. Gripping hard, distributing the torque kind of seamlessly under the surface. It kind of turns you into a hero and just makes it a super fun car to drive. This gear shift, the clutch, the relationship between the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal, it's perfect for heel and towing. It's just set up as a driver's car, a proper sports car. One little niggle I'd have to call out is this rear view mirror. It's really pretty big, and this windscreen is quite short, so that when you're heading into particularly a left-hand corner, you're trying to line up your apex and there's a lot of mirror there. So you find yourself looking around to get a good view of the road ahead. But that's just a minor quibble, it's no big deal. This car is terrific. You've got big two-piece ventilated brakes up the front, clamped by 4-piston alloy calipers, and big ventilated discs on the rear as well, with 2-piston calipers on them. It's a short stroke for the brake pedal, yet when you do want to wash off speed, it's really nice and progressive, feels strong, and we did some Motocana and some other kind of high performance exercises in this car, and there was no worries at all with the brake. No fade, felt spot on the whole time. Toyota Australia offered the first 1,000 examples of the GR Yaris at a heavily discounted price to help establish the car and the GR brand that underpins it. The first 250 were accounted for in 30 minutes. Within 24 hours, 560 had a name on them. Within the week, all 1,000 were spoken for. A little while later, another 100 cars they managed to get their hands on, offered at a slightly higher price. Same thing, gone in an instant. So Toyota Australia is negotiating for more supply next year, and that's an ongoing negotiation. So we don't know how many or exactly when, but what we do know is it's going to be offered at full retail price. Even at close to 50K, if you're thinking about it, I'd say don't hesitate, because this is an instant classic. Sayonara.